Now, what is a climate? We have to study about the climate which is there. The short-term properties of the atmosphere, such as the temperature, pressure, humidity, rainfall, sunshine, cloud cover and wind at a particular place and time is referred as weather. So all these factors which I have talked about, these collectively form the weather of a particular location. Now what is a climate? Climate is the average weather of an area. So weather is basically, it changes dependent upon the temperature, dependent upon the humidity, the moisture, how much sunlight is there, how much cloud cover is there. So depending upon that, the weather changes. But when I talk about a climate, climate is an average weather. Like for a whole year, what is the average weather which is there in a particular region, that refers to the climate of that region. So climate is the average weather of an area, including general patterns of atmospheric conditions, seasonal variations and weather extremes averaged over a long period. So for a long period, when we check that what is the major weather conditions which are prevailing in a particular area, so that refers as the climate of that area. Weather reflects the hourly, daily or weekly changes in the above properties. Climate entails longer periods such as seasons or years, for example at least 35 years. So when we are talking about a climate, we are considering the average weather. So how much duration should we take? It is approximately 35 years for the duration which we consider as the average weather to determine the climate. But when we talk about the weather, we just say it is on the hourly basis, it is on the weekly basis, monthly basis, like that. Temperature and rainfall are the two important factors which determine the climate of an area. So amongst all the factors that we have studied, we have covered temperature and rainfall becomes the major ones. Global variations of temperature and rainfall results from differential input of solar radiation in the different region from the redistribution of the heat energy by winds and ocean current. So determining the temperature and determining the rainfall which has to be there, it is dependent upon the amount of solar radiation which has been given on a particular area. Okay, so when we talk about the solar radiation, we are talking about how much heat energy is being distributed at a particular region. Then only we can determine what solar radiation we are talking about. Variations in temperature, rainfall and humidity in different regions of the globe from global climate patterns which govern all life on the earth. So dependent upon the temperatures, dependent upon the rainfall, the weather, the climate, everything, we determine what kind of organisms are going to be found in that area. Because every organism has a different equipment towards the environment, towards a particular temperature, towards particular rainfall. So depending upon that, we determine what organisms are going to be found in that particular environment. So in this figure, you can see that different, it's a world map, and here we can see the different climatic zones which have been placed. The polar zones, the tropical zones, temperate zones, all these zones are there in this figure. On the basis of variation in mean temperature along the latitude, the mean climatic regions are, what are the major regions which have been covered in this graph now? What have been the major regions which have been covered in this figure now? The first one is the tropical, that lies from 0 degree to 20 degree latitude. Second is the subtropical, from 20 degrees to 40 degree latitude. Then it's the temperate, from 40 to 60 degree latitude. Arctic and Antarctic, from 60 degree to 80 degree latitude. So these are the mean areas, like the areas which are determined by the mean temperatures which are present. The mean temperature declines as we move from the tropical to Arctic region. Yes, the temperature keeps on decreasing. It is minimum at the poles and maximum at the equator. A similar climatic zonation occurs with increasing altitude in the mountains. Yes, as we go up to the mountains, reach the heights of the mountains, the temperature decreases. A mountain located in tropical region will successively have tropical, subtropical, temperate and alpine zones with increasing altitude. So as we go more high altitude, we can see difference in temperatures, and we can have the temperature which is found in tropical, temperate, subtropical, all these regions we can find the temperature while we are going on a mountain on a tropical region. Similarly, in temperate zone, the high altitudes have alpine climatic conditions. So, alpine conditions can be found when we go to higher altitudes in temperate regions. Within each temperature-based climatic zone, the annual precipitation, that is the rainfall, it varies considerably. What do you mean by this? That according to the temperature which is formed, basically the rainfall is also influenced by that. These two factors, that is temperature and precipitation, together determine the vegetation and the soil type. So all the things, as I told, it is interrelated. All the factors, be it biotic, be it abiotic, all of them are interrelated. So temperature and precipitation, they also collectively determine what kind of vegetation is going to be there, what kind of soil type is going to be there in a particular region.